just into autumn. Cole with it. Cleary. Here they come, the Panthers. Garner with the ball. On the outside. Penrith go good. Laurie scores.
Welcome back to Little Birdie Podcast. I'm your host, Scoot, and this is Thursday Lines, where we talk all things AFL and NRL. We've had the greatest game of all return. It was massive in Vegas, and the Penrith Panthers, they sounded a big, or they just let rip in Vegas, and a loud warning siren against the rest of the competition with a big win over Cronulla. Nick Tedeschi joins us to talk all things rugby league. How are you, brother?
Look, unlike most rugby league journos and aficionados, I'm fresh. I wasn't not dealing with the Vegas hangover. So, what a weekend it was. It was. I don't want to do a spoiler up, but look out for Little Birdie holidays next year. We'll be running something over there, I'm sure. It was an elite weekend. They did a tremendous job. 4 games. Our record number of viewers in the US. record regular season viewership for. A Panthers Sharks game was a raging success.
Yeah, well, you were just shining, getting the knee pads on, and getting the polish ready for your little media cred for Mr. Volandis. So good to see that.
I tried the knee pads last year; it didn't work. Now I'm trying the knee pads on you, Steve.
Yeah, Jesus. Anyway. MG, I can hear you in the background giggling. AFL's on our doorstep. It's an interrupted start to the season. Quite funny scenes up here. The sun's shining at the Gold Coast at the moment. We've had a fair bit of wind, a little bit of a blackout overnight, but the show does go on. And AFL pulled the trigger to move the first opening match here at the Gabba. But I think they've still done the right thing, because even if they did play, the teams would have been stuck here until at least Sunday or Monday, which causes further chaos. So what do you think about it all?
Yeah, no, the Queensland weather's done it again, Scoot. You moving? I think since you've moved up there, Scoot, they're just speaking of records, Toprope saying record crowds watching the league in Vegas. You've only been over there twice, but since you've gone to Queensland, Scoot, I think you've broken all kinds of record for rain. So, yeah, I mean, the AFL, I probably couldn't. They made the right decision. You were saying just before with the weather that they probably could have played tonight, but I think it's just it's more than just the game of football. It's more with the families and whatever they're doing. And I think in the league, you've seen a few players pull out for the game that they've switched to New South Wales as a result. So each to their own, and it is what it is, Scoot. So hopefully for all families up there like you all survive what's coming your way.
Yeah, it was a tricky one. I sort of feel for the Dolphins players a little bit, Nick Tedeschi. There's a few of them that I don't. You'll have to clarify who's gone and who's not. But I was flirting with coming down to Melbourne and getting these shows off down in Melbourne. But the missus and the kids, I just didn't want to leave them one out. And after a tiny little blackout last night, good heavens and thank God I've stayed, because there was mass panic in my house last night. So I don't know how they would have gone for 3 days without me. But yeah, it's a little bit unfair. Nick Tedeschi, home ground given away, and then putting the players through that.
First of all, I want to give a rare kudos to the AFL and congratulate them. It's the people of South East Queensland are going to go after enough with a cyclone. They shouldn't have to endure an AFL game with the Gold Coast. So congratulations to the AFL for showing us some decency there. Yeah, look, the Dolphins, the NRL, as always, first back after COVID. Of course, the show marches on bigger than some individual players. So, yeah, a little unfair for the Dolphins, but that's us lead. Peter Volandis keeps the game alive again. So, down in Sydney, love the doubleheader on Friday night. So, nothing missed, nothing lost. Yeah, Cody Nicarima, Mark Nichols, the biggest names who missed, but they're still a pretty strong side over the Dolphins. So, they're so not wonder if they had a chance to have big betting line move there naturally with a change of venue and some players out. 5.5, the Dolphins favoured into the Rabbitohs favoured by 1.5. So, yeah, it's certainly from that perspective, it's a little unfair, but yeah, it's better than cancel their game, that's for sure.
Raiders Warriors, let's talk about that first. Then you can tell us about Panthers and Sharks. Quick summary.
Yeah, Raiders Warriors. No team can start the season better with a chip on their shoulder than Ricky Stuart's Raiders. And he claimed to have the worst travel schedule around. Everyone got the best draw in the comp. Fun fact, he lives in Canberra, so you don't have to travel every second weekend. That's just the way it goes. But they were very, very good. The Warriors were very disjointed. I thought they really pulled the wrong rein in leaving Tamara Martin out and playing with Metcalf halfback. He's a good young 5'8", but he's no organised, and they were all over the shop for the Wars. Concerns there. I would be a little concerned over the stubbornness of the coach. Their tactic of never giving Roger Tuivasa to check the ball is probably a poor one. So maybe get your best player the ball. The Raiders, they were to name off feeling a savage. He scored 2 tries, and they were just relentless that entire game. So big win for the Raiders. Sharks Panthers, absolutely ripping game. Not the defensive kind of battle I kind of anticipated, which didn't look like that was 4-0 for a long time there. But then really the floodgates opened. Penrith too good, and they're missing a lot of players who left, but they're missing some key players who, including Brian Totter, who were out injured. So, yeah, real marker laid by the Panthers there. From the Sharks, I'm probably not too disappointed with that. You know, you've run a really good team close. I thought Trindle and Hines both played very well. Adam Fanua-Blake, he was outstanding on debut for the Sharks. That's a huge platform that will be laid for them throughout the course of the year. And I think the worry maybe is around fullback Will Kennedy, but they've got plenty of options there as well. So if I'm leaving Vegas, I'm probably happy if I'm a Panther, a Raider, or a Shark, and I'm probably extremely worried if I'm heading back to New Zealand.
All right, good little wrap up there. We'll have a look at NRL Premiership prices off the back of that shortly. And as MG and I just spoke about before, so Brisbane versus Geelong, it's probably going to go to round 3. And then Gold Coast versus Essendon, still to be decided. So interesting situation there in trying to play catch-up footy there. The boys have also got their full set, so we're just going to preview some of the big TV games here. And you can get their full sets if you like. It's $33 a week if you want Nick Tedeschi set, and it's $22 a week for Mark's set. There's a couple of extra rounds, but they're not full rounds, so I think we're going to charge you 23 weeks of the year and you get the bonus finals on top of that. So we're going to give everyone a free look at opening round and round 1. So you've got a little bit of time to sign up for Mark's stuff, but Nick Tedeschi's stuff is off and away. So the continuation of his NRL tip will be in your email box if you've already paid for that one. Let's have a quick look at the AFL Futures and the Premiership prices before we get into the season proper. We had a little bit of a chat about it last week, but we'll give a quick refresh here. Brisbane Lions $6.50, Hawks $8, Giants $8.50, Carlton $9, Collingwood Magpies $9, the Cats are $9, Dockers $10, Swans $10, Western Bulldogs $12, and much, much better the rest. MG is pretty keen on GWS Giants as his early value play after a pretty solid season last year. I can't talk anyone out of the Hawks, and then obviously Brisbane Lions got that big home ground advantage, so they're going to go pretty deep. Brownlow medal we didn't speak about last week, so let's flick through this one, and MG can give an early season tip. You got Dacos $4.20, you got Cripps $10, Sarong $12, Heaney $15, Warner $21, Neil $21, Horn Francis $22, Petrarca $26, Oliver $26, and then Newcomb $26 from the Hawks. They're interesting. I think the wheel's going to fall off Melbourne personally, but Nick Dacos, everyone wants to tip him. Cripps, just defying gravity with how wedded to the umpires he is, and just the love-in for him. But any value picks there, MG, for people away from, I guess, the obvious, which is Nick Dacos?
Yeah, I was keen to lay Dacos just at the price, Scoot. When we released the future package, I think he was around the $6 mark. Bit of a shake-up in the Brownlow, obviously, last week with some key injuries. Bont around the $16 mark. He's out for maybe up to 6 weeks. Errol Goulden was firm in the betting as well. He's likely to miss. He could miss even up to 2 months. So, it's been a bit of a shake-up. I was keen to back up around 7 or 8 players around Dacos. A couple of those that I like. Neil was out at $34. I thought that was a very generous price for a guy who's won 2 Brownlows in a dominant side. Kind of like Petrarca, I think he just polled unbelievable, and he's obviously a gun. I know he's going to be in the Melbourne side, but I think he's a decent price as well. And when Sarong was in the $20-odd before Bont and Goulden come out for Freo, I'm expecting Freo to make the top 8 this year. So Sarong's been a standout piler. So yeah, I'm a bit bullish around the Brownlow market. I think I'm not sure stat-wise, Scoop, but I can't remember a player starting less than $4.50 at the start of a season for a Brownlow count. It's too short.
Yeah, outstanding. All right, so a couple of good value plays. A little bit of value knocked out of Sarong at $12, but Lockie Neal looks appealing, I agree, at $21. And John Newcomb was a bit of a surprise polar last year, I thought, and he's had a massive preseason, so he looked pretty good in the practice matches if you're a Hawthorn fan. Coleman medal, let's have a look at the market here, courtesy of Top Sport also. We've got Charlie Curnow at $6, Jesse Hogan $7, Jeremy Cameron $8.50, Nick Larkey $11, Sam Darcy $12, and then you got Jake Waterman there at $15. Any value here? Kangas probably win a couple more games. They've got a little bit of a bolstering or a bit of a decoy with Jack Darling there. Nick Larkey, any value at $11 MG, or you're going to play it safe with someone like Hogan or Big Jezza, who you're expecting to have another big year?
Yeah, I'm going to leave the first two favourites alone there on the page. Hogan's going to probably miss the first 2 weeks, so I wouldn't be piling him in at the second pick. Curnow hasn't been cited so far, so I think he's a bit of a false favourite. Yeah, again, in the futures package, you saw listed Cameron at $13, thought was juicy odds. Runner-up again last year, I know, and we know he backed him last year. I think he was around the $10 mark, $13 into $8.50. I think he was far too big. And also, yeah, Larkey for North Melbourne, as you touched on, tipped him at the $18 mark. He's into 11 before ball's been kicked in Angus. So, yeah, I think that because there's some value there as well. And I think, you can bet around the first two favourites early until they start playing and performing.
Might be time for the Kangas to win a couple of things with it, and not the wooden spoon for a change. NRL Premiership prices quickly. Panthers are the mover here. So you got Storm $3.40, $4.20 Panthers, Broncos $7, Sharks $11, Sea Eagles $12, and you got the Bulldogs $14. Are you starting to get the jitters with the Penrith Panthers, Nick Tedeschi? You want to pull the trigger here or what?
Nah, very happy with being on the Storm. Obviously, I thought the Panthers are a massive chance. But yeah, there's not much future in taking the two favourites to win the premiership. So at this stage, I'll just be riding the Storm out for the memoir. Hopefully, get a decent price on Penrith maybe during the Origin period if we're lucky. If not, though, we'll just have to take our chances. The big lay there though is the Broncos. Oh my god, $7, absolute poison. What a pet thing. Some of the comments I've heard on the Broncos, absolutely insane. So. Laying to your eyeballs, please, again.
All right, let's get into the first match, and it's tonight in Sydney. It's at Allianz Stadium, and it happens to be the Roosters versus the Broncos. So betting here is a real interesting story at Top Sport. You got Brisbane Broncos $1.38. You got the Chooks, Nicky's Chooks, at $3.05, and the line 7.5. Total 43.5. The weather forecast in Sydney is starting to slowly creep, especially with the cyclone heading and tending more southerly, and the bulk of the rain hitting, I guess, the northern parts of New South Wales. So follow the weather with a fair bit of interest here. But wow, Broncos! If you're laying them for the premiership, gee, they're short as an away favourite here, Nick Tedeschi.
What an absolutely ridiculous betting line in this game. Absolutely ridiculous. I'll give you a couple of facts before we get into the numbers here. Broncos assistant coach this year, Trent Barrett. Good luck with that. And Michael Maguire's record as a head coach his last 6 years, so I think it covers 4 at Thought the Tigers, and 3 at a bit at the Tigers, and 2 at the Bunnies. 47-80, so being hailed as a saviour. Heard some ridiculous comments on the podcast, but what a great coach he is, blah, blah, blah. Absolute bollocks. This is an absolute maths bet. Get your chips in the middle on the Roosters. Yeah, they were dreadful in the trial. I'll give you another fun fact. This is the premiership winner of the preseason against the team that ran last. The team that has won the preseason in the last 3 years has never made the finals, and the team that ran last in each of the 3 years has made the finals. So trial form is absolute garbage. No one cares about it, and people taking one Roosters loss. But it's absolutely ridiculous. They're missing a ton of players, no doubt at all. They have been hit hard. They are playing a severely weakened team from last year. But so are the Broncos. Broncos are, without Ezra Mam, they've got two 35-year-olds in the halves. They've got Gemmitt, Shibasaki, and Dean Mariner playing the centres. No Katoni Staggs. Oh, please, lay Broncos, lay. And of course, we're into probably my favourite angle of the year. Yeah, after my love of family, this is probably my favourite thing in the world. Home underdogs, the 4-1 first 4 rounds of the year, cover a 66%. That's done so since at least 2008. And if I was to hazard a guess, probably done so since 1908. So this is just absolute cash money. So a lot of stats around the chooks here, but just beyond the chooks. Just take the plus. They could win this outright. I'll be bet there. Also betting the unders, and you'll hear this a lot throughout this podcast. Round 1 the last 3 years, the under is hit 79.2%. Over the last decade, 62.8%. When there's an interstate team playing, 70.6%. Both the Broncos and Roosters are in strong under spots. Max bet Roosters, big bet under, and fill up the week.
Yeah, it's standing. You might even just put the Q in the rack after tonight. How good's that?
I would never advise putting a Q in the rack. Let's not misconstrue my words there.
Beautiful stuff. Big, bold opinions and chips in the plus and then chips in the unders, just how we like it. And there's a little bit of anytime try scorer flair with big Gussie Crichton at $4.25 for 1 unit play there. So that's how Nick Tedeschi is attacking Thursday night football. And I just love when he is up and about this early in the season. Let's talk about the Sydney Swans. We'll flick back over to the AFL. Sydney and Hawthorn become the opener here, and this is at Friday night. This is at 20 to 8, and you got the Hawks outside of here at $1.93, and then Swans at $1.97. There's no line. There's no total at Top Sport yet with the weather playing funny buggers, but it might sort of hit about 170.5 looking at some of the competitors. MG. How will this game be won or lost? Obviously, a couple of body blows to the Swans with Gordon, probably the biggest name.
Yeah, it's going to be a cracking start. I know we're one day delayed here, Scoop, but yeah, two potential top 4 teams. They finished 1st and 7th last year. Obviously, Sydney went on to play in the grand final, and Hawks come from well down. I think they were 16th the year before, so a much improved effort from them. So, yeah, looking forward to this one, Scoot. The weather's still a bit up in the air. It's not disastrous for the Friday night in the Sydney, but we'll wait and see with Sydney weather all the time. So, obviously Sydney have had some body blows with losing Goulden probably for a couple of months. We'll see 5 weeks down the track when he sees a surgeon again. Mills hasn't come up, so they're missing 2 key midfielders. They're also going to miss McDonald up forward, so they've got the depth to cover it. But yeah, be tested early against a Hawks team that's not missing much, ready to go. So it'll be a great test. In terms of stats, Scoot, the market's slightly leaning towards Hawthorn at the moment, so I'm in no rush to back Sydney. But come game time, I'll be surprised if I'm not on them. I think this might pick, and maybe it might even flick Hawthorn's way when the teams are announced tonight. Stats-wise, Sydney, they're at home, obviously very good at home. They've covered 3 straight against the Hawks and absolutely smashed them. They've only played them once each year, but they've beaten them by 76, 81 and 41. I know Hawthorn were pretty ordinary in 2 of those years, but there's some smashings. And also Sydney at home at night, 13 and 2 in the covering, so they don't muck around at home. Very tough to beat. So I'm probably going to favour Sydney. I'm just waiting for the market to sort us out. I don't think there's any great rush to go in now. As I said, wait for teams, and I think even Hawthorn might start favourite in this game. But happy to be on Sydney. You might look for the small margins either side as well. In terms of the total, Scoot, I know Topsport haven't posted for whatever reason at this stage, but it is heading down. Opened in the low 170s, and now it's just under 170. It's only going to head one way here. I'm pretty keen on the under. These 2 teams head to head 4-1 in the under, and Hawthorn's last 9 away games, 8 of them have been under. So I just think with 2 good defences, a chance of weather on the SCG, I just don't think there'll be much scoring here, Scoot. So pretty solid. We'll release a play on the under at some stage today.
Yeah, I think Hawthorn just need to stay with Sydney early. I think they've jumped us and We just haven't turned up on a couple of these occasions. So I think, the big blowouts might be a bit of fake news, and I think the wet weather around or a greasy pill might suit the small forwards and the Hawks. And I think Sam Frost missing in our back line and just a more solid Barras and Battle combination might be able to steal things up and shore things up for us in defence. So this will be a cracking game and one that I'll be watching closely. But yeah, given our wobbles against the Swans, I can't think that there's much value from my perspective in the pick and odds. So it's probably a bit of a watch and learn, but I wouldn't be surprised if my Hawks upset the apple cart. But yeah, I probably want to see it before I get too pot committed with it anyway. All right, let's have a look at the next NRL match, and it is the Dolphins versus the Rabbitohs. And Rabbitohs have got obvious injuries with Cam Murray and Latrell Mitchell out, so that's it's a big problem. You got the Bunnies still favourites here at $1.80, evens the Dolphins, and as Nick Tedeschi mentioned, 5.5 into 1.5, and the total's 42.5. Despite early market movement, how are you going to play this one, Nick Tedeschi?
Well, I'll be honest, I played it when I had the players out and back south at a good price, so I wouldn't be playing anything out of current odds. It's south, we've got lead towards south, but yeah, it's a worrying preparation for the Dolphins. It's also been against Christian Wolf as well. Christian Wolf making his first game as a permanent head coach. You've got to lean towards the Ashes in the circumstances, but there's no real angle push them in that case. But the big bet is I'll be backing the unders hard. I mentioned the stats before, but yeah, round 1, 79.2% the under, 7.6% with an interstate traveller to cover the Dolphins this week. That combined with the poor preparation, some key playmakers missing on both sides. I'll be backing the under with a fair amount of confidence this one. I think the line's too big here. I think totals in round 1 are too big full stop, and I think totals is way too big.
All right, so 42.5 on the under is some sort of value there. Let's have a look at the third NRL match, and it's Manly Sea Eagles versus the Cowboys. Manly $1.45 at home, $2.75 the Cowboys, 6.5 the line, and the total 45.5. So this is even bigger here, Nick Tedeschi.
Yeah, let's start with the obvious. We'll be on the under again. That's the best bet in this one. Not going to rattle off all the stats again, but the Cowboys are a big under team when are big interstate underdog, 8-3, and they're getting at least 4 points on the road. Manly are very good at Brookvale, but the Cowboys have been a kryptonite over the last few years. They've won 5 of the last 6 at Brookie Cowboys. So probably slightly towards them at the plus. Favourites have a pretty poor record in round 1. Favourites have covered as 29% the last 3 years, 38% the last 4. So leading the Cowboys plus, not a huge amount of confidence, but we'll be having something small. Big
weather watch too in Sydney. So Saturday night, that one at 7:35. Next AFL match here, Mark Goodwill, is GWS Giants versus Collingwood, and it's the Giants as outsider at $2.20 there, and Collingwood are 167. The line 6.5, and total probably still expected around the 169.5. And this being on Sunday, weather could roll right in here. Thoughts?
Yeah, pretty keen here. Scoot, this is a cracking match, actually. There's been obviously some injuries that have seen a big go for Collingwood here. They're actually started outsiders, so Giants started a couple of points favourites here. They've lost some key forwards. We all knew when the price had been posted that Green would miss out of the midfield, so that's going to hurt. But on the back of Hogan and Stringer both not coming up in the forward half of the Giants, you've seen the line really move aggressively towards Collingwood. But Collingwood have got some small issues on their side. De Goey's going to miss, so I think De Goey and Green probably cancel each other out a bit. I'm going to stick with the home side here, Scoot. I'm going to go against the market. No need to rush in. I think it might only go one way when the teams are announced. Collingwood are a side like Carlton and probably in the NRL with Toprope saying with the Broncos as well that they're just a side that's overbet. There's never any value really in betting Collingwood, and I think the market always tends to push them pretty hard. So yeah, I'm keen on the home side here, Scoot. They've got a very good record against Collingwood. They've won 4 straight at home v Collingwood. They've covered 8 of their last 9 against Collingwood as well. So I think that I'm going to be with the home side, even though they're missing a couple of key players. And as keen as I am going to be on the Giants, the total here, Scoot's probably going to be, I know I've only got 2 games this week, but the total here is going to be a big push, I think. The weather's getting worse as each update comes in. And I think by Sunday, this total's only going to go one way. Actually opened as high as 175.5.
Wow.
Put it out, took the 171, 170. It's now into the high 160s. If the forecast goes to plan, Scoot, I think this total might even start 160 or sub into the 150s. So I think there's going to be a pretty strong play by the end. We've already played it once and might not stop from going again, Scoot. As you know, the market moves pretty slowly, so may as well jump on it, especially early. So, yeah, going to go with the home team, and I think the under's going to be a pretty good push.
Wow. With weather around and Green, Hogan, Stringer, so many goals coming out, and then you got to go as well. This could be a real slogfest. So that could be bet of the week by a margin in the AFL. So I'll be definitely jumping on that one, MG. Completely in love with that angle. Nick Tedeschi, we're going to talk about Melbourne Storm to cap off the show, and they're $1.12 at home against Parramatta, $6.25. The line 17.5 and 43.5 the total. Wouldn't be a little birdie Thursday Lines episode without talking about our beloved ATM machine, the Melbourne Storm. I read your tip sheet and it says no bets, no recommended best bets. How is that so?
Well, the line hadn't quite got as big as it had. Now I will be recommending a bet. I'll be recommending the Parramatta Plus.
Oh, no.
This is my wooden spooner against the team I fancy for the Premiership. 16.5 is an obscene line in one. It's happened twice since 2008. Not only has the plus 16.5 covered, they've won both games off the stick. So, look, don't love Parramatta, no Mitchell Moses at all, but this line's too big. I've said Storm winning comfortably because there's a big space in there between winning comfortably and covering, essentially getting to an 18-point victory. Storm have dominated Parramatta of late, but they're going to take time to warm into the season. They usually do. They rarely win a round one game by more than 10, even though they haven't lost a round one game since the early 2000s. So, very confident that at 16.5 that the Eels can keep this one close enough. So, I'll be betting the plus probably as a 3-unit play now.
It's taking the wind out of my sails. I just wanted to cheer Pap the points.
Oh, you can cheer Pap. You can have a lot of Storm players anytime the price scores. There is no knock on any of that stuff. But Melbourne are in no risk of losing this game. But I think we could all be pretty happy with a 28-12 win.
All right, so the absolute sicko play is last leg Melbourne Storm at the $1.12 for Scooty. It sounds like I'm going to have to pile everything into the heads up, or just give myself a little bit of. What about a little alternate line, a little pick my own line, a little 9.5 line? Where, if I'm desperate to just cheer Storm at the minus, where do I play? 7.5?
Yeah, take the 7.5. I'm not recommending that at all, but I'll just take the plus 16.5 and just hold on for dear life. But I can't see Melbourne losing this game. So maybe 5.5, at the $1.30 or whatever it is. $1.25.
I am that sick, and
I know you are.
All my holding strength will be for the Cyclone up here. So I just want something to look forward to on Sunday afternoon with Storm and a little sicko minus there at 5.5 or 7.5. I might even do a couple of different combinations. So maybe the best bets are the
Eli Katoa for any time try score. If you don't have a little, if you want to just cheer on something about Eli Katoa anytime try score, they're pretty weak on the edges. The Eels and Katoa has a great try score record for the Storm. So I'll just have a little dabble on him.
$2.75 for 1 unit on your official plays there. Okay, so it looks like pretty straightforward betting. I think MG is chips in on the under in the GWS versus Collingwood game. So that's his best bet of the round. And then Nick Tedeschi is all over the plus on Nicky's chook. So she'll be very happy to see Sydney Roosters cover the line or just win off the stick there at 3.05 for Thursday night. So we've got plenty of action to kickstart us for this weird sort of opening round in the AFL that's lost its taking the wind out of the sails with the cancellations of the Queensland matches, and then you've got NRL 1 being continued off the back of Las Vegas. So it's a bit topsy-turvy, but we've managed to get through this disjointed opening couple of weeks, and hopefully it's nice and simple for you guys at home, and we found you a couple of winners to kick off the season. It's going to be a long one. It's going to be a good one. but the boys are absolutely fizzing. So if you want more of their stuff, and if you want end-to-end action for MG stuff, it's $22 a week, and he's only charging for 23 rounds this season. And then Nick Tedeschi's 33, and you get a burger with all his previews as well. So I'm gonna bunker down, and fingers crossed the Foxtel and the internet connection could last, and hopefully I see you guys on the other side. But enjoy your weekend, lads, and hope there's plenty of winners. And we'll see you next week for more Thursday Nights.